Welcome to the second lesson of the free Life Essentials Masterclass, The True Goal of Life. This is the complete lesson and the first version. If you're watching or listening to this somewhere online and would like to ensure that you have the latest lesson, find the other lessons, the workbooks, quizzes, certifications, and other materials, please go to our website, 7wayme. That's the hub for everything. That's the number 7, WAY.me, and join the Life Essentials Masterclass from the big button on the homepage or from within the training section. Now, within the first lesson, we discovered the rules to life and the meaning of life, as well as learned about free will, choice, why we are here, and a lot more. At the end of that lesson, we mentioned that if we are all to live a meaningful life, humanity as a whole needs a clear path that will work for all of us to get there. And when I say path, I mean the actual goals and the details on how to achieve them. So in this lesson, we start by asking and then answering the question, what is the true goal of life? What I have found is that many of us say the goal is to be successful. But what does success really mean? In our society and throughout all of human history, humanity usually links success to wealth, power, and fame, and even holiness, intelligence, and beauty, with those of us at the highest levels called the most successful. Our society's focus on these areas has guided me to study the lives of the most successful people throughout history. This includes our greatest leaders, as well as the most wealthy, powerful, famous, holy, intelligent, and beautiful. Also, through my work and travels, I have made friends with and worked with many very successful people. What I found shocked me because there is a recurring problem that shows up in many, if not most, of these successful people's lives. Over and over again throughout our long human history, we find out that those of us with the highest levels of success, with the greatest wealth, power, fame, and even holiness, beauty, and intelligence, often become corrupted. As you may have heard that saying by John Acton that states, power tends to corrupt, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I have found that this is true with few exceptions. Before going further, to be clear, when I say corrupted and talk about this topic, know that I am not talking down to or judging anyone. Any of us can be corrupted. This is because we, the human race, were created with a flaw that is also a gift, as it allows us to potentially fail as well as to succeed in life. The potential of corruption is part of the human conditions under which we live and requires certain knowledge and belief and action to compensate and overcome it. Corruption is a human problem and a global one that we have been fighting since the beginning of our creation. The fact is, this is the only time in human history that we can actually make the global changes that are needed to fix this issue. This is one of the main reasons I'm here. The Way and the One are guides and organizations that can immunize humanity against corruption. Let me start off by giving you an executive summary or high-level view of success before I go deeper into the problems, corruption, solutions, and what true success really means. To be clear, what society calls successful as measured by wealth, power, fame, beauty, intelligence, and holiness is not true success nor the ultimate goal in life. If it were, these conditions would naturally create better people and a better society. And now, after thousands of years being led by these so-called successful and holy people, we'd be living in a thriving world and a global society that is much healthier and more peaceful than it is now or ever has been. These traits are not how we gauge a meaningful life, nor is it what we truly seek. To say it another way, wealth, power, fame, or even being holy, intelligent, or beautiful is not true success, because if it happens to you, it does not mean everything in your life is just fixed and perfect. You don't automatically become happy, healthy, have great relationships, know what to do or how to do everything correctly, nor do you have all the rest that makes up a meaningful and wonderful life. The truth is, many, if not most, of the most powerful, wealthy, and famous are the most lonely, unhealthy, unhappy, angry, confused, lost, and corrupted. Now let's go a little deeper into this topic of success, leadership, and corruption. I want you to know I'm going to go and belabor this point a little bit, and I'm doing this on purpose to ensure that we reach as many people as possible, as well as give those who do understand this the ability to bring more light into the darkness. To be clear, a deep understanding of the difference between success and true success is key because the vast majority of humanity must be focused on the correct goal if our species is ever to truly win and rise to take our rightful place. The fact is, too often throughout all of human history, those of us who are called the most successful often get lost seeking pleasure above all else and become greedy, petty, mean, self-righteous, arrogant, and then lie, cheat, and mislead to win at all costs. Those of us lost in power often feel superior and do not treat everyone as equals, care for our world properly, nor do they treat others as they would want to be treated if the situation were reversed. Those who have fallen to the sin of false pride and the sickness of superiority that it incites often rationalize and feel justified in lying, cheating, telling half-truths, and exaggerating everything to make themselves seem right, regardless of the truth or cost. The so-called successful often work hard to stoke negative feelings of hate, blame, division, jealousy, anger, lust, and envy whenever possible to get us to focus on them. The fact is, too many of those who achieve high levels of so-called success misrepresent and mislead us about other people so that they can seem right, better, and superior. If ever questioned or when errors are pointed out, they will use tactics to cast themselves as a victim of unfair attacks instead of admitting the truth or any mistake. Often they will accuse others of exactly what they are doing to divert our focus and confuse us. Many of those at the highest levels of power do this while claiming to be good and fighting evil. The fact is, the human conditions, our malformed legacy systems, and our human flaw has left us with generally two types of leaders at the highest levels. Those of virtue and merit, who are truly seeking to find solutions and spread truth and to help us. And then there are the lost and corrupted leaders who have failed the leadership test and are caught in the grip of vice, who want to control everyone and see everything as win-lose and a competition to gain more power, wealth, and fame for themselves. We can clearly see so many of us lose our way as the most successful rulers and leaders throughout all of human history have done everything, including destroying lives, societies, and our world to gain more power, wealth, and fame for themselves. These fallen leaders rationalize evil into good and delude themselves into believing that might, money, and power makes right. They too easily treat us, the vast majority of people, other life, and our precious, irreplaceable, and life-sustaining world as their personal, disposable resource game or toy, where we, the masses, are most often thought of as pieces on a game board or numbers in a calculation rather than as special, unique, and precious individuals to be cared for with the utmost of respect and urgency. The truth is, highly successful people often live lives that are so far removed from what normal people live that they're out of touch, and their sense of empathy, sympathy, emergency, and urgency has become distorted, and they don't know what to do to help us. They do evil thinking it's good. They don't do enough. They do the wrong things, or they just don't do anything to fix the things that are clearly broken. Too many waste their lives falling to temptation and the dark side by seeking to fill their lives with endless pleasure, leisure, parties, entertainment, vice, lust, and luxury. To verify this fact, we need only look throughout all of human history and within our current news and media to see the truth of this. Here we can plainly see the tragedies of the so-called successful lives spread out before us with all the acts of abuse, lack of self-control and direction, waste of money and time, bad relationships, lack of good deeds, lies, pettiness, as well as all the other corruptions of character and needless trauma and drama. We can see how most of those who have the power and resources to find the solutions to the greatest problems facing humanity would rather spend their time fighting, perpetuating the past, broken systems, flying around in space, or on other trivial pursuits. We can see throughout history how the majority, the many billions of us, have been and are underpaid and exploited, so a few people can take more than their fair share and more that they can ever use. How much of our precious environment has been destroyed by people, governments, and companies who could do what is right and even claim they are caring for our world properly. We can all plainly see the proof of these lies and poor management everywhere, and especially as they are actively working to destroy the lungs of the world for greed. How many billions of us have been killed and displaced throughout history and right now because of war and the pettiness, mismanagement, willful ignorance, arrogance, greed, and lack of morality by the few in power? It should be clear to all of humanity that throughout time, powerful people, companies, governments have lied to us in order to manipulate us so that they can get what they want, no matter the truth, cost, or what is truly good or right. The corruption of our leadership has been difficult to correct because leaders are often surrounded by other lost people in the form of sycophants, toadies, yes people, enablers, grifters, con people, and other corrupt people who do not call them out for their wrongness, but instead condone it and even help them. Sometimes these so-called successful people are even raised within families and groups that claim that they are superior to everyone because of their ancestors' names, skin color, bloodline, wealth, or other trait, no matter their true abilities or character flaws. Sure, there are exceptions to this general rule, and there are more good people with power in our age than ever before, but that's the problem. They are only exceptions, and the good are greatly outnumbered and divided. Throughout all of human history, we see few successful people, businesses, and organizations use their power and excess wealth for something truly good. Fewer still unite to do some great good deed in the world. The truth is, few of the so-called successful go beyond paying the minimum or giving the minimum to charities, and they only do that so they can get positive press and tax breaks. Clearly, the many good deeds that are desperately needed are not being done on a large scale by the so-called successful people and organizations who have the resources and power, or a society and world would not be in the sorry state that it is. The poor are not poor because of lack of work. For most work more than full time, it's because their wages are being stolen so a few can make even larger profits. Our world is not being destroyed out of ignorance or lack of alternatives, but instead because of people who are lost and fallen to greed. The same is true with our faiths. If we manifested the true virtue found within them, our holy organizations would not be splintered, corrupted, self-righteous, and harmful as so many of them have been and become. Instead, they would have brought enlightenment, peace, and been working to solve the world's greatest problems, and everything would be much better by now. You should be able to see the truth of my words. What do we have? We can plainly see the fight between good and evil within our governments, businesses, religions, and other systems played out everywhere. Again, it's not the systems that are evil, it is our flaw that shows up within them that we need to compensate for. As I said, what society calls successful as measured by wealth, power, fame, beauty, intelligence, and holiness is not true success, nor the ultimate goal in life. If they were, these conditions would naturally create better people and a better society. And now, after thousands of years of being led by the so-called successful and holy people, we'd be living in a thriving world and a global society that is much healthier and more peaceful than it is now or has been. These traits are not how we gauge a meaningful life, nor is it what we truly seek. To say it another way, wealth, power, fame, and even being holy, intelligent, and beautiful is not true success, because if it happens to you, it does not mean that everything in your life is just fixed and perfect. You don't automatically become happy, healthy, have great relationships, know what to do, know how to do everything correctly, and have all the rest that makes up a meaningful and wonderful life. The truth is, many, if not most, at the highest levels of power, wealth, and fame are the most lonely, insecure, destructive, lazy, unhealthy, unhappy, angry, confused, lost, and corrupted. Okay, let's just stay here for a second and go a little deeper. So if what humanity has generally called success, as tied to wealth, power, fame, intelligence, beauty, and holiness, is not true success, what is it? The truth is, success in this context is really one of the greatest challenges any human can face. This is because people at the highest levels of success face massive temptation and tests that, if not handled correctly, will corrupt that person, and likely, because of that corruption, hurt a great number of people, our society, and even our world. As I mentioned earlier, this pervading corruption does not mean that it's wrong to be wealthy, famous, powerful, intelligent, beautiful, or holy. These aspects just need to be managed correctly if we are to reach our full potential individually and collectively as a species. In fact, being wealthy, famous, powerful, intelligent, beautiful, and holy are key aspects of our society and are helpful if handled correctly. Things have been wrong for a very long time. To fix our society's issues, we need to join together, not be divided and point fingers. To truly win, we must turn our enemies into our friends. To get there, we need to understand this key point, right? So before we reveal what true success really is, let's just stop here for a second, go meta and talk about why this topic is so important. Now, the whole point of what I'm saying is not to whine and complain. I did this to paint a picture of one of the greatest problems facing humanity throughout all of our time in this universe. I'm doing this because often knowing what something is not often helps us understand what it truly is. So to help ensure as many people as possible get this, I'm going to express this idea in different ways. To be clear, one of the greatest reasons why we have not fixed the major problems of our society and world is that humanity has not been focused on the true goal of life, nor have we had a clear path that everybody can follow to accomplish the true goal of life. To say it another way, our collective focus on the false goal of success as tied to wealth, power, and fame has hurt humanity, for many, if not most, of our greatest leaders throughout all of human history have been lost to the dark side in its pursuit. To say it one more way, focusing on the incorrect goals is at the heart of all the problems of our species. Along with understanding what success is not, we must understand that what we call our flaw, this thing that allows us to be corrupt, is part of a great gift. For along with our ability to be corrupted and fail comes our ability to make our own choices, use our free will, and take actions to truly win at life. We can work to fix, heal, and compensate for our flaw. In fact, our desire and our work to compensate for our flaw is what makes us a noble species and worthy of consideration. It should make sense that we can only rise to take our rightful place if we have the correct goals. Basically, I have said everything to this point because in cases like this, We have to understand the problem and clear up some misunderstandings before we can even see the truth. The truth is, all of us, all people everywhere, including the currently called successful, feel the same emptiness and seek the same answers to the same questions. No one wants to fail at life. We all want to fill this void within us with something good. We all want to find our people real answers and solutions so that we can make sense of everything, so that we can not only survive, but truly thrive. Okay, we've come a long way. Now it's time to reveal the answer to one of the greatest questions facing humanity. So if wealth, power, fame, holiness, intelligence, and beauty are not true success, nor the true goal of life, but instead a challenge, what is the true goal of life? For this answer, we need only look at what a loving mother wants for her child. She wants them to live, to be healthy, happy, safe, to have positive, long-lasting relationships, to be educated, to find something that they feel passionate about that's worthwhile. Ideally, doing that to support themselves. She wants them to not only survive, but thrive, living a true life where her child grows, overcoming obstacles and challenges, and is a good and kind person who works hard and has all the rest that makes up a full and wonderful life. This is the true goal of life and what we all want. Everybody wants to become their best self and live a wonderful life. This is very important. So let me just say this a few different ways. First, by tying this concept back to the first lesson within our Life Essentials Masterclass. The rules to life under which all of humanity lives, these shared human conditions, force all of us into similar circumstances, which are filled with challenges, temptations, and tests that can either make us or break us. Therefore, the true goal of life is to take the right actions as time passes so that you become your best and live a meaningful life. It should seem obvious that not being corrupted, but instead having all of what makes up a wonderful life, like being happy and healthy, having great relationships, a worthwhile passion, a solid moral code, good coping skills, and all the rest is how you create a meaningful life and is where you find the greatest meaning. To say it another way, working to master all the critical human conditional areas of your life is how you get and stay on your true path to being your true self and where you will find and create the most meaning in your life. To say it another way, the true goal of life is to be your best physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, in your relationships as a family, at work, and in society. To say this in a more metaphysical, religious, and spiritual way, the true goal of life is to stay on your true path, be your true self, and live your true life. After everything I've said, this answer should seem fairly obvious at this point, as in, of course, the ultimate goal of life would be for me to be my ultimate self and for me to live my ultimate life. While this answer is short and logical, we've had to go through a lot of deep topics to get here. Don't take this lightly, for it is part of a code that gives direction to life. We've come a long way within these 2 lessons of this Life Essentials Masterclass. We now all know the rules and meaning of life, the difference between success and true success, as well as the true goal of life and a lot of other keys. Even so, this understanding, while important and sets our direction and helps get everybody on the same page, it's really not enough. We still need to know the exact details on how to achieve the true goal of life. Well, it just so happens we picked that up in the 3rd lesson, how to achieve the true goal of life. So be sure to catch it and the rest of the lessons of this free Life Essentials Masterclass. As always, feel free to reach out to me with any suggestions or questions that you may have. I appreciate all your support. All the tips, likes, saves, shares, comments, and the rest allows this message to reach more people and means a lot to me personally. Thank you for watching and all of your help. Until next time, wishing you peace, happiness, and true success always. God bless you.